Lagos is not meant for Yoruba people alone. Lagos is not meant for one ethnic group or one religious group. And he was alleging that there is an ethnic undertone. All these new streets that they have brought, nice, Soniade, Bado, everybody on that list that they have given names is a Yoruba person. Then they removed Charlie Boy that the people themselves named in honor of Charlie Boy, in recognition of his popularity as a force of resistance, defending the interests of the hoi polloi. And then they removed that and said, oh, no more Charlie Boy. The man said so twice. His name is OlamiDey David. Now, this OlamiDey David is the outgoing SCDA chairman in Bariga.
Yes.
Now, what he has done, I think he should be ashamed of himself. And I say that advisedly. He's not going to be remembered for the roles that he provided for the people, for local government things that he provided for the people, for his contribution to the Bariga community. He is going to be remembered for his last act, last whimper effort, renaming streets. I don't think that should be a legacy. I don't think that is a legacy that he should be proud of. Because indeed, we will advise the man who is the newly elected chairman of that SCDA that, well, he may consult with the people and consider reversing what this Mr. David has done at the last minute. He was there all this while. He was expected to do more important things. His legacy is renaming of streets. And do you know that they got painters? They started changing the name of Charlie Boy. What kind of incompetence, indolence, is this?
Veteran entertainer and activist Charlie Boy has publicly criticized the Bariga Local Council Development Area in Lagos State for renaming the Charlie Boy bus stop after popular rapper OlamiDey. The Bariga LCDA, as part of a broader initiative to honor notable individuals, renamed several streets and landmarks, including changing Charlie Boy bus stop to Bado bus stop after OlamiDey's nickname, eliciting a flurry of reactions. Let's take a look.
Ilaje Road will now be called King Sunny Ade Road. Ajidagon Street will now be called OlamiDey Adedeji Bado Street. That means that Charlie Boy bus stop will now be changed to Bado bus stop. No more Charlie Boy.
No more Charlie Boy.
Why the need for
I don't know
more Charlie Boy? You will know the kind of mindset behind
it. But you know that Charlie Boy will respond now. He did now, of course, on X. Charlie Boy, in a post on X, stated that renaming the bus stop was a deliberate attempt to erase his decades of activism and social defiance. He stated that the bus stop earned its name organically from the people due to his consistent fight for them, not through political patronage. He also emphasized that while physical signs can be changed, his legacy, which he says is carved into the history of Nigeria and etched into the minds of those who still dare to question authority, cannot be erased. Of course, the renaming of the streets and landmarks in Lagos has sparked mixed reactions, including from activist Omoyele Sowore, who described it as a politically and ethnically motivated vendetta by the APC government. Sowore characterized the renaming of the Charlie Boy bus stop as cynical and spiteful, describing it as an attempt to rewrite history and silent dissent while discrediting opposing voices. The activist made these comments in a social media post, adding that the actions were vindictive, haphazard, and laced with ethnic undertones aimed at targeting specific ethnic groups, punishing political opponents, and erasing legacy. Also, human rights lawyer and senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, condemned the trend of renaming streets and bus stops in Lagos State, deeming it unconstitutional, illegal, and authoritarian. Falana emphasized that the power to name roads, streets, and houses lies exclusively with local government councils, as stipulated in the 4th schedule of the 1999 Constitution. He criticized the renaming of Charlie Boy bus stop to Bado bus stop, arguing that the original name was organically given by local communities due to Charlie Boy's societal contributions. Renaming it without community consultation, he stated, was disrespectful and, of course, like he highlighted, authoritarian. Go ahead, Rufi on fire.
Yes, so I have a lot to say because I had to do some digging. At first, you see, that's why I keep saying we should not divide this country. This country is beautiful and blessed. Why was it that it was after the skirmishes that happened after the political season in the last elections in Lagos, all of this started? Because it's not only in this Bariga area. There was another one too in another local government in Lagos that a lot of names were changed. Secondly, I dug deep, Oji. That place used to be called Second Pedro. There was no official naming that made the place Charlie Boy in the first place. So you removing a name that was not official shows spite. There was no official naming. How did that place come about? I dug deep. I even called Charlie Boy in this matter. And by the way, he's done another skit where he responded to them. Maybe you play that skit. And he said, because I wanted to get all the empirical facts. He said he moves there in 1989, just before his prominent 1990 album dropped. But he did a lot for the people there. He said on his last count, because he used to do endorsement for motorcycle companies and the likes, he said he had given over 2,500 motorcycles to Okada riders and people around there as a form of empowerment. He said there were many people that they paid their school fees there. In fact, he said that some people even opted to change their name to Oputa. Many scholarship schemes, and he helped the area. He was a tenant in that area. He didn't own a house there. Although on the flip side, some people have now started bringing another allegation that he didn't pay rent when he was there and all of that. But he said he did all of this because of the joy and passion. He said how he put Bagada on the map. You know, he had one of the most watched shows on Nigerian television. A lot of people don't know that Charlie Boy is one of the godfather of Nigerian TV. His Charlie Boy show on TV was highly revered in the 90s. And it was syndicated all over the country. Many TV stations. And he would do his candid camera on the streets around Bagada. So it is sad that this is happening at this point in time. We are supposed to be uniting people,
yes, this is it.
not dividing them. In fact, even Dr. Bani SCN made a very strong point around this, that we cannot go on this way. Falana had made this strong point. Guess what the people that rename it, they even got DJ on the street to be telling people that you must call it Bado bus stop. For what?
It will take a while.
We can't build a society this way. Give Charlie Boy his flowers. You see, he might be somebody that is at a side that you don't like today, does not mean that you should erase his legacy.
No more Charlie Boy. That's what he said. Well, Dr. Bati, Falana also highlighted the contradiction of Lagos State retaining colonial-era street names associated with oppression while replacing names honoring positive Nigerian contributors. He called for an end to arbitrary renamings, urging local government legislative arms to institutionalize public hearings and legal processes for such decisions. I mean, talking about the fact that we still have pre-colonial era names on our streets, and they're worried about renaming Charlie Boy bus stop.
Okay, let me first talk about some of those historical routes. There are some routes on the island that are named after, colonial figures. Correct. Now, over time, the Lagos State local government areas, they've changed most of those names. But the lesson from it is that some of those roads, there's still, some people are used to the old names. They have refused to switch. I think one example will be Kingsway Road. There are people who still call it Kingsway Road. They have refused to accept that it's now Rewane Road, after Rewane Road. So that's why, the community's memory is important. And the thing about naming is that generally in Africa, there's something called naming and naming systems. We give names for a purpose. And so when you change names, you wipe out history. You wipe out part of the people's memory process, or what we call remembering process, in the literature. That's number one. And Mr. Falana says, well, the community should have been consulted. So even if we change the names, the people will remember. The third point that Mr. Falana made is about the constitutionality of it. In 2002, this was an issue. When the Lagos State government, under the leadership of the present president, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, decided to create 30 SCDAs, or is it 37? 37 SCDAs. And excuse me. Sorry. And the matter went all the way to the Supreme Court. And the Supreme Court ruled that, okay, states can create SCDAs. But what is recognized for Lagos in the Constitution is 20 local governments.
Yes.
You can collect money for your 20 local councils and go and share whatever you call the additional this thing, but you will not take more than what is in the Constitution.
Yes.
And that has been the situation. They have these SCDAs. And Falana SCDA's point is that the local governments in Nigeria are listed, they are recognized in the first schedule of the Constitution. And those local governments, there are 774. Those additional LCDAs in Lagos, they are not listed. And to that extent, he says it is not constitutional. Now, the other issue here is that is the point made by Monday Ubani SAN and also by Showore, that Lagos is not meant for Yoruba people alone. Lagos is not meant for one ethnic group or one religious group. And he was alleging that there is an ethnic undertone. All these new streets that they have brought, Nice, Soniade, Bado, everybody on that list that they have given names is a Yoruba person. Then they removed Charlie Boy that the people themselves named. in honor of Charlie Boy, in recognition of his popularity as a force of resistance, defending the interests of the hoi polloi. And then they removed that and said, oh, no more Charlie Boy. The man said so twice. His name is OlamiDey David. Now, this OlamiDey David is the outgoing SCDA chairman in Bariga.
Yes.
Now, what he has done, I think he should be ashamed of himself. And I say that advisedly. He's not going to be remembered for the roles that he provided for the people, for local government things that he provided for the people, for his contribution to the Bariga community. He is going to be remembered for his last act, last whimper effort, renaming streets. I don't think that should be a legacy. I don't think that is a legacy that he should be proud of. Because indeed, we will advise the man who is the newly elected chairman of that SCDA that, well, he may consult with the people and consider reversing what this Mr. David has done at the last minute. He was there all this while. He was expected to do more important things. His legacy is renaming of streets. And do you know that they got painters? They started changing the name of Charlie Boy. What kind of incompetence, indolence, is this?
DJ. It's now OlamiDey those streets. You don't call it Charlie Boy again. You call it Charlie Boy. You will see Pepe.
Unfortunate. Dr. Ruben Abati on fire. Well, all right. Well, all right. Shall we head over to Ghana now, where some Ghanaians staged a protest in Accra, the country's capital, over the weekend, demanding the immediate expulsion of Nigerians from Ghana using the slogan, "Nigerians must go." The demonstrators blamed Nigerians for rising insecurity and criminal activities in the country, expressing fears that continued Nigerian presence threatens public safety and quality of life. Let's take a look.
We love our small Ghana. We don't need you. Nigerian people, you are wicked. Go, go, go. We don't need you. Nigeria must go, go.
We are begging you guys. There's a lot going on in Ghana. We've kept quiet for so long, and it is time we have a review.
This was quite strange to watch him by. The protesters also questioned, heavy Nigerian presence in Ghana despite ECOWAS agreements and called for urgent action to restore safety. The protest followed earlier calls for a Nigeria must go demonstration in Ghana planned for July 19th. However, the protest had been cancelled due to a lack of police support. There was also controversy surrounding the installation of Eze Chukwudi Ihenetu as the Eze Ndi Igbo Ghana, meaning the king of Igbo people in Ghana, which sparked intense public debate across Ghana. The controversy intensified when images and videos of Eze Ihenetu's lavish palace in Accra, adorned with regal emblems, circulated online. This development raised questions about sovereignty, cultural identity, and boundaries of foreign community leadership within the country. In response to the opera, the Southeast Council of Traditional Rulers reportedly moved to abolish the use of Eze Ndi Igbo title by Igbo leaders residing outside Igbo land. In a communique, the council introduced Onyendu Ndi Igbo, meaning leader of Igbos, as a new official title for Igbo leaders in foreign lands or outside Nigeria. Vimbai, a quick comment on this.
Okay, I'll do my best. When I saw this, it obviously reminded me of what happens incessantly in South Africa. Initially, we called it xenophobia, which is a traditional term that we have for when people are, when people segregate against another, not necessarily race, but people from a different place. It later evolved to Afrophobia, which is when Africans have segregational behavior towards other Africans. And that's what we see happening here in Ghana. The Afrophobia is around illegal activities that they feel are perpetuated by Nigerians in their communities, which is exactly the same case that happened in South Africa. South Africans would say that the Nigerians in South Africa are illegal, they're responsible for drug trafficking, they're responsible for human trafficking, prostitution, you name it. But you know what the irony of this is that when you look at South Africa now, over the past 2 weeks, the headlines have been awash with the fact that the Minister of Police has been relieved of his duties. They've basically discovered a huge drug cartel within the police force, senior rank of the police force, and within the Ministry of Police as well. What does this show you? It goes to show you that, yes, there's illegal activity. Yes, there are some bad eggs. However, to attribute all of the illegal activity to one nationality in a country is wrong. And now you see this happening next door in Ghana, and the difference between Ghanaians and Nigerians is very minimal. They're closer in likeness than you would say Nigeria and South Africa, for example. And of course, Nigerians must go is an echo of that chant from 1983 under President Shagari. Yes. However, that was different because it was a mass deportation of illegal immigrants. This one is I'm calling it Afrophobia because these are people that they have have neither identified as illegal or convicted as criminals, who they are saying that it must be Nigerians. If there's ill in our society, it must be Nigerians, which is very wrong. I think it's very important for us to condemn Afrophobia in its deepest sense, because as Africans, if we cannot create room for each other under these imaginary borders that the white man came and created for us, then where are we going? Because truly, these are imaginary borders.
Well
they came on a ship.
We only have a minute, 30 seconds
Okay,
each,
30
please.
seconds. Real quickly, see. Nigeria must go. Where? To where are we going? We're not going anywhere. We're going to be there with you in your country in Ghana. Nigerians have been settling in Ghana way back the 20s and the 30s. In fact, one of the biggest markets in Ghana is Mokola, after a lot of Nigerians that went out there. All of this started as a political gimmick in the 60s when Kofi Bosia had this Ordinance Act to remove illegal migrants. A lot of Nigerians were removed. In 83, Nigerians still had a lot of problems with the economy. We blame illegal migrants. So we pushed Ghanaians out. But does this settle the matter? No. Ralph Waldo Emerson said what lies before us and what lies behind us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. A lot lies within us, Nigerians and Ghana. Where are we going to push ourselves? Famous Ghanaian journalist Komla Dumo lived and grew up in Nigeria at some point. The current Nigerian president, Ghanaian president, lives around Kwara State in Nigeria.
All right.
The same too can be said for many Nigerians out there in Ghana. What we should do is, how can we collectively fight the perpetrators of evil and device and solve it?
That's the question.
And this matter that they're escalating. In fact, the AZ has come out and said that he means nothing of such. What they just did was they went to whip up sentiment from an old interview of something that never existed. Right. And he has clarified that. So we cannot allow it. Nigerians are not going anywhere. We must come together and make our country work. Nigeria is also adding to the economy of Ghana, just like some Ghanaians are adding to the economy of Nigeria.
All right.
Our common enemy is the West that has destroyed all of us, that have drawn artificial borders. We're not going anywhere.
All right, we have to take our good
History
news
has a
report.
way of repeating itself, first as a tragedy, subsequently as a farce. But in this particular case, we can just play safe and say history just has a way of repeating itself. In 1954, the Ghanaians expelled Nigerians from Ghana. They did so again in 1959. In 1959, Togo expelled people from Cote d'Ivoire and Dahomey from Togo. That culture of intolerance among people we know as West Africans. In 1975, ECOWAS was established, was founded. Now, part of the idea of ECOWAS is to allow the free movement of goods and services. But this has not really happened in the real sense of it, because that ideal has not really percolated to the people. In 1983, under Shehu Shagari, president at the time, there were people who were called illegal aliens. And Ghanaians were asked to leave Nigeria. Now, many Nigerians, Ghanaians have come here to benefit from the oil boom in Nigeria. At the time, they had the economic crisis in Ghana. So that was the origin of the word Ghana must go. Yes. Now they are saying Nigeria must go. So there's still a lot to be done in terms of integration and togetherness, and to realize the dreams of the founding father of ECOWAS.
Well said, Dr. Abating.
That's why I like this guy, Luffy. You see, all this problem, we are just creating more problems everywhere. The only thing I know what I'm saying is one day we'll be able to have somebody who is going to start rebuilding this country the way it should be, so that it will be a country for every one of us to live in. And the law will work for every one of us, not working for a few set of people and not working for others. Because now the hatred is just too much for some persons, for some region. The hatred is just too much. And under this administration, everything has changed. People don't go by constitution, by what the law says again. And when you talk, they say, why do you say that? We can do this, we can do that. And that is not how it should be. A country where you don't have to consult people who actually needed to be contacted over these things you are doing, because you feel like you have the power, authority, you can do it. The same constitutions that brought you into power, you sought to uphold the constitution. Now, because you are now there, you have the power to change and not change. You don't have to consult the constitution again. You don't have to even consult the people. You just go and do whatever comes to your mind, because you have hatred for some region, for some person, because you don't like things like that. It's only going to bring division, problems here and there, give people a lot of reasons to doubt. I mean, reasons to agree that, okay, what these people have been saying, it is true. What these people are doing, it is true. And this one now, it is obvious, as the video has been trending since yesterday. And now, this is somebody who were giving this, who were giving this kind of for his contribution to the society, for the contribution to the community. They decided to reward him for his legacy. But somebody came overnight, because he has the power, he decided to change it and give it to somebody. I won't say he does not deserve it, or just because of one reason or the other, they decided to give to the person. for one reason or the other best known to them. But this person was not being chosen by a political leader. It was chosen by the society, the community who's benefited from his philanthropies. They benefited from that. They said, okay, the only thing we can do to reward you is to reward you by naming your name in our bus stop for you, remember, for your legacy. But now somebody came, he said it does not matter. Probably this one that the name they give it to is do one or two things to them personally, individually. Yes, it also contributes to the society. We can't take that away, but is this the way to go about it? No, that is the problem. Why ethnicity will always come in, and ethnicity is playing a major role. And if ethnicity is playing a major role for one reason or the other, it's not going to work. And this is the problem we are having now in this country. It's not going to work. Everything is not political. It's not by constitutions. It's not by constitutions. You don't have to even consult anybody. You just wake up and decided to make an announcement that this is what you are doing. This is what you want to do. Nobody, no objection to whatever you say. And now the law is the Psalm is quoting law for you. You don't have right. Constitution does not even say if you want to do this. This is a process. But nowadays you don't even have to. You don't have to consult the people in the community. You don't have to follow by constitution. No. People talk, I don't do. If you talk, finish, maybe you go have some. That is the problem why we are here. Anyways, what do you think? Please subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be your guide. Now like, share, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. See you next time.